in. This is the No1 podcast. I am your host, Coach Jake. Hope you guys are doing good. What's up, Adrenaline? What's up, MTMG? Renee Menchaca. Hey, what's going on, Renee? Mauricio. Happy to see you guys. Let me get this out of the way a little bit so you guys, I could see you and you could see me. Hope you guys are good today. Some definite sad news insofar as a friend of mine, a super duper legend, like huge, massive impact. This is kind of the inspiration for today's show. I want to talk about, being legendary. Let's make a choice to be legendary. What's up, David Lopez? Heavy Cuts Polishing, Lucas, PPS Sev, good to see you guys. D Mac, Jordanis, good to see you guys. We did have a huge loss. Rest in peace to the legend Gene LaBelle. Like, if we could maybe get in the chat some love for Gene LaBelle, some rest in peace. I don't know how much you guys know about Gene. He touched a lot of people's lives. This was truly, so one of the things that I talk about with scientific wrestling is be legendary, right? That's kind of one of my many taglines that I use in marketing. But Gene LaBelle was truly, truly legendary. And this is a person, in my mind, that we should try to emulate in our lives, right? Gene was so amazing. I saw it last night on GoCore's page. I worked out at GoCore's gym where Gene would train, and this had to be 2004 for that year, about 2004, 2005. Fantastic place. Gene was very, very kind to me always. He was a kind human. So what's up, Ruby Tuesday? Happy to see you. Thanks for the shout out. Guys, please, let's give let's give Gene LaBelle some love in the comments, okay? I would really, really appreciate that, guys. Comment. Do you even know who Gene LaBelle is? How can you not know who Gene? Yeah, MTMG, Judo Gene, RIP to a legend, revolutionized grappling. Yes, Gene LaBelle. So I'll tell you some Gene LaBelle stories that I have. Gene. Obviously, everybody knows who he is. This is the guy who choked out Steven Seagal. Tom, what's up? We got the UK in the house. What's up, Tom? He said he was a sadistic bastard. He was sick. He was a great guy, though. Like, funniest guy, give you his shirt off his back, do anything for you. But tough and mean as hell. Like, if you wrestled him, you were in trouble. He wrestled a bear. Like, this guy was insane. And I heard somewhere, I have some friends that are friends through Gene in the stunt industry. He was like the longest or the oldest stunt person or something. He had the longest career in stunt of anybody, I think. He's been around forever. Ruben Tuesday, RIP, Judo Gene, picked up judo 7 years ago on the way to get Shodan. Shame that I never got to meet the man. Yeah, he was a legend. That's the thing with these legends, and what I've tried to do with scientific wrestling is give everybody access to these guys, to actually get you to show up to an event, to train with these guys, and to get the rub, to learn firsthand from these men and get to meet them and shake their hand and maybe put a little bit of money in their pocket for the effort and the inspiration and the risks that they took, all that kind of stuff. MTMG, yeah, taught Steven a lesson. So he choked out Steven Seagal, which you just gotta love the guy for that alone. But he was Bruce Lee's bodyguard. So if you've seen that movie, it's the new Tarantino. I can't remember the name of it. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That's the name of it. I do remember it. The one with DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, where it takes place in Hollywood, and it's kind of loosely around the Manson murders. There's a scene that's a total homage to Gene LaBelle where Brad Pitt's character is a stunt actor. And in this scene is basically reliving what Judo Gene did, where he taught Bruce Lee. He picked him up and ran around the studio with him on his shoulders. Gene was legit a tough guy. Salt Lake City in the 60s held the very first televised mixed martial arts match in the modern age. Just a fantastic guy. Tom's dropping some stuff. The story behind the pink gi. I mean, dude, he's got so much stuff, and you should go and look up Gene LeBell. Spend some time on YouTube, learn about the man. I have like over an hour. It's maybe an hour and a half discussion that Gene and I had way back in 2004. I put that up on the Do It Again podcast, which is, I think, available on Spotify. You can go check that out. You can go to scientificwrestling.com, go to podcast. And I put it up actually a couple weeks ago because I heard that Gene was not doing very well with his health. Now, granted, this is a guy, I'm very sad that he passed. And he was a friend of mine. And he did a lot of really great things for me. He was actually there on my wedding day in Las Vegas in 2006. June of 2006, and great human being. Introduced me to Mondo Guerrero, who is Eddie Guerrero's brother. Mondo and I were going to open I had a gym down in San Juan Capistrano. He didn't live too far, and Gene brokered the deal. He was going to run Guerrero Lucha Libre out of my gym. Gene was just a real great guy. A mutual friend of ours, No1, who is very distraught about this. She's in the stunt industry. Was telling me that, I was the only one that he called Jake the Snake and all this kind of stuff. So, Gene was a real special human. I gave an award with him at the Cauliflower Alley. He used to take me out to the, what's it called? The Sportsman's Lodge in LA. Introduced me to a lot of great guys. Like Pepper Martin and some of these other old timers. He will sorely be missed. There will be nobody who can fill his shoes. I think on the grappling side, Gokor certainly can. Gokor is amazing. I wrestled him. This was before I started learning from Billy and Carl. But I remember wrestling Gokor, man, and that guy just swept me at will. An incredible, incredible guy. So, Gokor, I think, is going to definitely keep the flame going with regards to Gene and Catch as Catch Can wrestling. I know Gokor doesn't really say that, but that's what Gene says that he learned. And you should listen to some of his interviews on Catch Wrestling a lot. He was, there in the mix. Always put over Carl and Billy as the toughest guys he ever met. So just really going to miss the guy. Guys, give him out. Living Dead, you fear. Gokor is the man. He is the man. Gokor's cool. Now, Gokor obviously is going to be taking on the mantle of Gene with regards to grappling. And, that line is doing well. A friend of ours, Neil Melanson, does a lot with regards to that. And, Neil is very innovative as well. So, a lot of his on the training side is going to be carried on. I think what we're going to have a hard time with is the spark, the personality, the man, Gene LeBell, who was just such a good person. But I'd like to, and we can, if you guys have anything you want to say about him or anything, just drop it in the comments. I would love to hear it. I think that you guys need to go listen to my interview, go find other stuff that he's talked about, in particular for me about the catch wrestling side of things. I learned a number of really cool strategies and techniques from Gene that I still teach to this day. A couple of nice wrist locks, arm drags, things of that nature that I picked up from Gene. Just a fantastic human. And so my heart goes out to Midge and to those that really, really will be missing the man. But he lived a full life. So in addition to all the crazy stuff, having the first mixed martial arts match, being a professional wrestler, being a judoka champion, AAU champion, all that stuff, There's the side of Gene that fortunately he was a huge player in the stunt scene. And you could see him in all these movies. He was also the referee for the Muhammad Ali Antonio Inoki match. Right? This is a guy who was super central to the history, in particular of catch as catch can, particularly grappling, particularly mixed martial arts, and martial arts in general. It is a loss, but everybody dies, and he lived a very very full life, and I am just blessed to have known him and to have it's one of those things where like somebody a candle can light a million candles, and I think that's really what Gene did. I know he did that for me. So rest in peace. But I really want to talk. It made me think about Gene LeBell and my own aspirations to be LeBell like. I mean, look, people may not even know this, but Daniel Bryan, the pro wrestler, right? Bryan Danielson. He was roommates with Neil Melanson in Vegas for a number of years. They were good friends. And that's where the LeBell lock, which hopefully we get to see some of that this week in memory. Ruby Tuesday says Gene was also the official for the Anali. Yeah. Yep. I just mentioned that. Real. What's up, Rick Brown? Never be another like him. That is true. Gene was very, very special. But you could see him. So not only was he the ref, but you go watch all these movies. He's in every freaking movie. It's amazing, really. Like he played a ref in Raging Bull. In the opening scene when De Niro's doing the boxing, Gene LeBell is the ref there. Like he's in all of these movies. If you go to, I think, the Internet Movie Database, it's just an exhaustive list. He was an incredible motorcycle guy as well. So let's break down a little bit about being legendary and maybe talk a little bit about Gene LeBell and talk about the inspiration of Gene LeBell and how we could carry that into our own lives and maybe keep a little bit of Gene LeBell alive in our own hearts. Right? Wouldn't that be nice? So let's think about this, right? What does it mean to be legendary? Like, imagine for a moment, okay, that we're not talking about Gene LeBell. Imagine for a moment, let's fast forward, and it's your life. And you just died. And people are talking about you. Are they going to be talking about you in the same way that they talked about Gene LeBell and that they are talking about Gene LeBell? Let's be honest here. Have you done all the crazy shit necessary to be legendary? Have you wrestled a bear? Very few people can make that claim. Did you have the first MMA match in Salt Lake City against the boxer Milo Savage? Have you been in all the movies? Did you choke out Steven Seagal? Would you choke out Steven Seagal? Some people wouldn't even have the guts to do that. So these are lessons I think that we should take from the life of a legend like Gene LeBell. Is that fair? Living Dead You Fear says, I remember on the West Coast of the U.S., catch wrestlers were all anybody talked about until Gene LeBell really put judo on the map along style, freestyle. I don't know what you're talking about. Gene LeBell was a catch wrestler. He was a judoka, but he always would talk about how, because his mom, Eileen Eaton, ran the Olympic in L.A. The Olympic is the big Coliseum. I don't know how much you guys know about this stuff. But so Gene grew up in pro wrestling, and he actually met Ed Strangler Lewis, right? Gene was 90 years old, so he goes back quite a ways. And he actually met Ed Strangler Lewis, learned holds with Lou Thez. He held Carl Gotch in the highest esteem, and Billy Robinson. I think he always felt that Carl Gotch was the toughest. I pressed him a couple times. I said, who would have won, man? You got to give me an answer here. and he would tell me that he thought Carl would beat Luthez. So anyway, legendary human. But what does it mean to be legendary, right? So I'm going to do what I normally do. Let's look up the meaning of a word, right? So let's look up legendary. And again, I'm not just going to look, well, we'll look up a normal definition, and then I want to look up the etymological definition. Again, fans of this show, fans of me know that I'm a big fan of etymology, which is the history and the meaning of words. I think there's a lot of magic and a lot of information and knowledge to be learned, absorbed, and taken advantage of in the history and the meaning of words, etymology. Let's see here. Let's see here. It's not really letting me search now, of course. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it doesn't like. Do you guys have a VPN? Yeah, here we go. So definition, legendary. If you have a VPN, it messes things up. Like Facebook doesn't like my VPN. All that. Living Dead says, I know all that. What I said was that Gene put judo on the map as a favorite combat sport to watch in America. Yeah, I mean, Gene clearly did great stuff through the AAU, and then used that in his pro wrestling gimmick. That's where he became. Well, he had the Hangman gimmick, which was where he's in the mask and all that, but he really ran with the judo thing as a pro wrestler. So let's see here. So legendary, an adjective based on or discussed in legend, or the second definition, which actually doesn't use the word to define it, which I hate that. Extremely well known, famous, or renowned. Okay, extremely well known. So Gene LaBelle is extremely well known. Now, why is that? So to be a legend means that you're extremely well known. I would maybe add on to that you've maybe done something that stands out. It's more than just being well known, because I mean, O.J. Simpson is well known. Is he a legend? Maybe in football, but like as a human being, he's kind of a piece of shit, from what I understand. So I don't know if just standing out. So here's another one from the Cambridge English Dictionary. It says very famous and admired or spoken about. Okay, so admired, I think maybe is a good word. And Gene LaBelle was certainly admired, right? Like, what's up, Lyrically Indigenous? Happy to see you. So let's talk about this. How can you be legendary? What are you doing? Will people remember you after you're dead? I'm not just talking about your mom and your dad or your kids or your brother or your sister. I'm talking about the general public. Have you really tried to make a legacy? Do you notice the LEG in legend is the same as legacy? Legacy, let's look up legacy here. So legacy, and then we're going to get to the etymology of it, because I think there's always a lesson to be learned there in terms of like a course of action. What can we do to actually become legendary? So for me personally, that's why I'm obsessed with number one. I always try to be number one in whatever I do. Now, am I successful all the time? No. But it doesn't mean like I don't try like a motherfucker to do it, right? Because so for me, maybe the mace bell, that will, if I got hit by a bus tomorrow, the mace bell would be a legacy thing that people would know about my efforts. Catch as catch can, scientific wrestling, the efforts that I've done with that. I think maybe that might last for a few minutes. Shoot Pro Wrestling, King of Catch Wrestling, those things. Now one that probably nobody will ever fucking remember. I created the first valuation model for reverse mortgage servicing rights. Now, is that going to make me a legend? I mean, it's definitely something I did. I made people millions and millions of dollars by doing that, but people won't remember, right? So what is it that what does it take to be legendary? If you guys have comments, please, this is how I interact with you. I'm live for a little while. I don't have a lot of time today. I have a meeting in 20 minutes that I have to get to. But, if we were to do our best to to take the essence of Gene LaBelle and take the lessons that we learned through his life and what he's done and what he accomplished and the impact that he had. Think about all the different books, right? Ryan says, thanks for shining the light back onto Catch Wrestling. That's what I do, man. It's in my genes. I can't stop it. Can't stop me until seriously, I'll be dead. That's the only way it'll stop. And even then, I'm going to figure out some AI fucking shit to keep going and keep Catch in the forefront of the minds of people and infect other people. I think that's the thing that I do maybe the most. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of these people don't even like me, but I'm very good at getting people infected with the bug. And then they try to be my competition. They talk shit and all this other stuff. And then they can't do what I do. And they come around and kiss my ass like 10 years later. That shit happens all the time. But regardless, I'm not mad at you. I'll take you back. I'm just here to push Catch. And if you're into it for Catch's sake and not for yourself, let's go. Right? Because that's what we're really trying to do here. So Kaylin says, did Elvis train with him? I know he was in a few of his movies. I have no idea. Now Elvis was big into pro wrestling in Memphis. Okay. And I know he knew Billy Wicks and he knew Sputnik Monroe down in that like civil rights era Memphis. And he used to know Pepper Martin. Pepper was a friend of mine that was introduced to me by Gene LaBelle. Pepper Martin actually knew him. I would not be surprised if Gene LaBelle did not know Elvis or have some sort of connection. I mean, Gene LaBelle, man, I heard he was ill, pretty bad ill, about a month ago. And so I dug out that old interview. It's the same interview that I put into my book, Say Uncle. Gene is just an amazing guy. I would really recommend, if you have my book, Say Uncle, which is now like 12 years old, crazy to believe, go and read that. Or you can go and just listen to the interview live. It's from 2004. I put it up on the Do It Again podcast. So let's look up etymology. Now, this is etymology of legacy. Let's see here. From the 14th century. Body of persons sent on a mission. The body of persons sent on a mission. From the medieval Latin, legatia. From the Latin legatus, ambassador, envoy, or deputy. Joel D. Townsend, did Gene ever fight Steven Seagal? I don't know the exact circumstances because I wasn't there, but I think Gene was on set because he was a stunt guy, and Steven Seagal was strutting around with his fantasy of who he is, and I think Gene LaBelle, from what I understand, he made him poop his pants or something. I don't. You just go read it. I don't want to perpetuate false rumors or anything, but it's definitely an interesting story. It's definitely a legend that is worth a Google or looking on YouTube. Legacy. So let's look up legend because legacy is not giving me what I want. Let's look up legend. So what does it mean to be legendary? It pertains to a legend. D. Morani 21 says, we have wrestling day every Friday at my BJJ gym, and most of it tends to be catch style wrestling with a lot of influence from Gene and Neil. Yeah, so Gene taught Monday nights over at Go. This is when I went. This is 20 years ago, 18 years ago. He taught Monday nights over at Gokor's place in North Hollywood. Now I think Gokor's moved maybe 2 times or 1 time from that old facility in North Hollywood to the one he's at now. Every Monday night was Gene LaBelle's night over there. And I really liked Gokor's gym. When I was there, it was kind of when Carl was blown up. He was booked on the UFC. I didn't really get to wrestle with Carl. I wrestled with Manny Gamburian. Dude's a beast, man. About broke my knee with a double leg takedown. He's so crazy. Great group of guys. yeah, he will be sorely missed. And Gokor will do a fantastic job in continuing uh, that legacy. I don't know. Now, Neil claims catch wrestling, which I am a huge fan of Neil and glad that he does so. I don't know. I don't hear Gokor speak, and maybe that's just because English is his second language, and he's not so much into. And maybe he's more of a man of action and not words type of thing. I don't hear him talk much about catch, but I sure hope that he does because Gene was very very serious about catch as catch can and the importance of it, and he was so again if the word ambassador means something. Gene was an incredible ambassador for catch as catch can wrestling, right? Incredible guy. So the etymology of the word legend from the early 14th century. Okay, so what are we? We're in the 21st century, 500 years. The word legend is at least 500 years old. That's as far back as we can see it. Legend, the etymological dictionary says legend, noun, early 14th century, narrative dealing with a happening or event from the Old French legende or something, I don't know, which is 12th century, directly from the medieval Latin legenda, legend or story, especially lives of saints. I don't know if somebody would call Gene LeBell a saint, but he's a saint of grappling, that's for sure, right? Ryan Crispell, 37. Gene once wrote, "When a teacher dies, a world of knowledge is lost forever. That's why I have no secrets. So when I die, cast my ashes to the far winds, I think. For as long as my students live and teach, I will." And I can't read all of it because it's kind of broken up. Yeah, I think that's true, man. So this is part of what has been the mission of scientific wrestling, right? Well before everybody had their phones and was filming everything and doing all that shit. I was there filming with gigantic clunky fucking cameras, um, trying to capture this information and as much knowledge as possible so that you could learn from the person themselves. Now, Gene is fantastic that way. He's got so many instructional videos now, all that kind of stuff. And then he's got a ton of people. So he's got Gokor. I know he's got Pacific Ocean up there in Malibu, and tons of other people. I know David Tice has spent a lot of time with him. There's a lot of these guys that unfortunately passed away. Roddy Piper was a Gene LeBell black belt. I know that because of his judo connections, Rhonda's mom, who's a judoka, really thought highly of Gene. And so there's a lot of Gene LeBell in Rhonda. In fact, he was in the corner of her most recent MMA fights. I mean, where his health would allow him. So, yeah, that's interesting. So legend story, especially lives of saints, which were formerly read at matins in refectories of religious houses, literally things to be read on certain days in the church. So that's kind of interesting, right? So this word legend almost has this like connection to saints, to worship almost in a way, right? So what would that require for you? What would that require for you? I'm asking you this rhetorically. I mean, you can answer if you want in the comments, but it's more of a rhetorical question. What would it require for you to become legendary like Gene LeBell? Does that mean you got to go wrestle a bear? Maybe. Does it mean you got to go choke out some blowhard on a movie set? Maybe. What does that mean? What can you do so you can be legendary like Gene LeBell? Can you be in a million movies? Maybe not. Maybe. I don't know. The guy definitely lived his life to the fullest. To the fullest. A friend of mine, Bob Calhoun, was an author on his autobiography, and it's just a sad day, and I don't want to be too sad about it, but I just want to celebrate his life. The guy was amazing. So if you guys have anything else to say, I'd love to see it in the comments. It'll be up forever. So say it now because I'm going to sign off in about 5 minutes. I do have another meeting I have to go here in 10 minutes that I got to prep for. So, guys, what do you need to be legendary, right? So, like I said, one of the cap lines that I use in my marketing is be legendary. Like, I want to help you to where you have a legacy, to where when hopefully you live a nice full life like Gene LaBelle, and when you're 90 and you pass, there is all this kind of fanfare because you're a legend. So, what are the lessons that we can learn from the life of Gene LaBelle, right? To be legendary, to take risks, to be out there, to be aggressive. Okay. Gene was a nice guy, but he was aggressive. Choked out Steven Seagal, picked up Bruce Lee and ran around a movie set with him. Right? So, great guy, but he lived aggressively and made sure. Now, Gene was also a self-promoter. He made sure you knew who he was, wore the pink gi, all that guy. He was, so, that being a legend sometimes means you have to tell people why you're a legend, or, also promote what you do. Right? So, all right, guys, I really appreciate your time today. Be legendary. If I can help you in any way, check us out, scientificwrestler.com, scientific wrestling. If grappling ain't your thing or catch ain't your thing, and I'll teach you how to make money with it too. But you can also head over to No1 Coaching. I am a huge nerd for business, and I know a thing or two that I'd love to teach you and help you improve your life. Just actually had a couple nice testimonials, 2 separate testimonials from clients. They don't even know each other. Both of them said, like, dude, working with you, one of them said, I doubled my family's income, and we worked together for 6 months. In 6 months, doubled his family's income. So that means his 4 kids, he has 4 kids, he doubled that income. Better house for them, buying toys, security, better insurance, all that kind of stuff that comes with doubling your income. Another client, he's a single guy. He said, dude, I did more than doubled my income with you. I posted these. They sent him his text. So if I can help you with that, I'll help you with that. I'd love to help you make all the money doing what I want you to do, and that's making money by being legendary, continuing the legend of catch can wrestling. But maybe it's something else. I've got companies, I've got whiskey distilleries, I'm helping them. I've got people that help people with final expenses for their funerals, and for like insurance and funeral care and all. It doesn't matter. I can help you, but you got to let me. And I'm not cheap. But, you got to think of it like this way. Don't think about it in terms of the money spent. Think about it, the money you make. You got to think of these things like an investment. That's how wealthy people think. Wizard of Oz, what's up, bro? Living Dead You Fear. I wouldn't recommend you listen to anybody who says they did anything to Bruce Lee unless Bruce himself wrote about it. It didn't happen. All right, dude, whatever. Yeah, there was tons of witnesses. I don't think it's even controversial. And he was Bruce Lee hired him as his bodyguard. I wonder why, because he was a grappler, and he learned. He was also Bruce was a student of Gene LaBelle's. This isn't even controversial. So, anyway, guys, I appreciate you. I'm gonna jump off of here. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, what's up, Wizard of Oz? Good to see you, man. Hope to see you over at Coach and Catch. We're gonna be back down in Phoenix here very soon. Go over to coachandcatch.com. You can get on there and show up and learn. So I hope to see you guys there. And again, rest in peace to the legend Gene LaBelle, and let's honor his memory by trying to be legendary in our own lives. Okay, I appreciate you guys.